guys, welcome back to Tell Me. My name's Harley Southwell. I'm currently working in Queensland, Australia.
I'm Seth Roberts. I'm currently based out of Beirut in Lebanon.
And so right now we're doing a series on the peculiar message of the Adventist Church found in the Three Angels' Messages of Revelation 14. Last episode we looked at the first angel's message and we summarized it in one word, and that word is love.
Yeah, and we saw that that was the case because all of the proclamations that this first angel makes were relational in nature. The first angel's message is ultimately a call to love God, to love humanity, and we also saw that overall, this message is fundamentally the everlasting gospel. That's what it is in one idea. And we also found an amazing summary of what the gospel really means by Ellen White. She defines it in this way, that hanging upon the cross, Christ was the gospel. And she goes on to say that this, or the gospel, is our message, it's our argument, our doctrine. Right? Thus, the message of the church, the message of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, is first and foremost the gospel.
Yeah, it was amazing stuff. And now we're going to look at the message of the second and third angels and look at their special relevance and power.
Okay. So here we are, Revelation 14, verse 8. Here's what it says. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Now what I immediately see here is that the first angel's message, the message of the first angel, has dramatically affected the world as the second angel here announces its message. Right? We see Babylon falling before our eyes. So throughout the Bible, Babylon is referred to, as confusion, deception. And so now that the first angel has proclaimed the everlasting gospel,
hanging upon the cross, Christ was the gospel.
Right, we see Babylon falling as a result. We see the first angel proclaiming absolute truth, displaying to the world the truth about the truth about God's character, and destroying the arguments, the deceptions that the devil has filled the world with. And the three angels' message, as a result, is causing Babylon to fall. And I want you to think about this here. The truth will ultimately triumph over confusion. God's true character and love will be fully revealed to the world through the gospel. Error will not be able to stand in its way. The second angel's message is ultimately a call to absolute truth. A truth that cuts like a knife through the confusion, the postmodernism, the relativism that's so rampant in our world today.
Yeah. So the message of the second angel can be summarized by the word truth. Absolute and fundamental truth. Our world needs this message, Babylon needs to fall, and the next verse says, Third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, or receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb.
And now we see the reaction of Babylon. We see Babylon is falling. It sees that it's losing, and so as a result, it resorts to violence. It actually tries to force people to worship its way. And we see in Revelation 13, which is the chapter before this, that the mark of the beast is enforced upon everyone at the end of time. And of course, God is diametrically opposed to force. It's completely against his nature. And so when people see our message of the love of God, and then see the religious systems, the religions of the world uniting to force worship, there will be no greater witness to the truth. And see, everyone has an innate sense, an understanding that force is wrong. Our message, the three angels' message, stands for freedom. It stands for human dignity. When Jesus is held up in contrast to Babylon by our message, then the cry will go up, come out of her, my people. People will flock to the truth.
Yeah. And God can't let that sin last forever. He's going to destroy it. He's tried desperately to separate us from sin, but in the end, when all have made their choice, he moves in to clean up the universe from sin and once and for all. And when he cleanses the universe of sin, he's going to have to cleanse the universe of sinners. The Bible uses incredibly strong and scary language here to warn humanity of the impending cleansing that's coming. Our message is to warn the world of this and to point them to Jesus on the cross who can separate them from their sins.
I also want to highlight another point here as well. Check out this other quote by Ellen White. She says here, the shortness of time is frequently urged as an incentive for seeking righteousness and making Christ our friend. This should not be the great motive with us, for it savours of selfishness. Is it necessary that the terrors of the day of God should be held before us, that we may be compelled to right action through fear? It ought not to be so. Jesus is attractive.
Wow, Jesus is attractive. Yeah, so the scary language is there to scare us and wake us up, but it's not to be the reason we become Christians. Our parents love us so much they warn us with scary language when bad things are going to happen. And it's because God loves us so much that He gives us this scary warning. But it's not what we're to emphasize to make Christians or to be Christians. Christ on the cross, in the third angel's message, is what we should emphasize. But I'm going to make this personal for you. Why are you a Christian? Why are you an Adventist? Is it for selfish reasons? You just want to go to heaven? And you want to, or is it because you're actually attracted to Jesus? You're actually head over heels in love with Him. I would venture that if you aren't actually attracted to Jesus, then you aren't going to heaven. For most of my life as a Christian, I was only a Christian because I was afraid of hell and I wanted to go to heaven. I didn't really care that God loved me. I kind of took it for granted and I went through the motions just so I could, go to heaven, have a mansion, go frolicking with dolphins in the sea, and it was selfish. It was all selfish, and I was on my way to the wrong destination because of that mindset.
And so we're asking you, please, if you're having a similar experience now in your Christian walk, we're going to ask you to act now, before it's too late. God is calling you to love Him for who He is, so He can give you heaven as a bonus. Right? We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, overall, though, the third angel's message can be summarized as freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to love, freedom to hate, and a warning to choose correctly before it's too late. So our message is to warn people whilst attracting them to the man on the cross, to the gospel. It's a solemn but gloriously beautiful message. And it's the most important message for this time, undoubtedly.
So we can summarize this message, the third angel's message, under the word freedom. The first angel was a call to love. The second angel is a call to absolute truth. And the third angel's message is a call to freedom. Now that brings us back to the problem that we discussed before of our church having this powerful, amazing, super relevant message, yet as we've seen through the survey, our personal experiences, it's so often failing our spiritual, our practical needs. And so many of our churches, even though they have this powerful message, seem to be so irrelevant and out of touch with the needs of the world. But we have such, this powerful, relevant message. So you kind of see the problem there? We're going to be discussing this in further episodes and exploring some answers in part 3. Don't miss it.